Crystal Flush is different. This is a game changer.
Crystal Flush is now available without a prescription, but it is not available in stores. Get your risk-free supply today. Go to crystalflush.com. That's CRYSTAL flush.com. Stop being embarrassed by ugly yellow toenails. Go to crystalflush.com or call 800-204-4484.
The chair of the Federal Reserve is scheduled to speak at the central bank's economic conference in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, in a speech that could move world markets.
Chair Jerome Powell is expected to tell economic leaders from around the world gathered at the Federal Reserve's Economic Symposium that inflation isn't easing up as quickly as the central bank would like. He could call for additional stimulus in the form of interest rate hikes, which could make financial markets even more jittery than they've been lately.
ABC's Daria Albinger. Fort A.P. Hill in Virginia gets a new name today, a Army training facility named for a Confederate general. Will be renamed Fort Walker in honor of Dr. Mary Walker, who treated soldiers during the Civil War. Walker is the only civilian woman ever awarded the Medal of Honor. The head of Spain's Football Federation says he won't step down after kissing a Spanish team member during the Women's World Cup trophy ceremony.
No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir.
Luis Riboles apologized today at a Football Federation assembly, but he remained defiant. Now he has been suspended. And Walmart is teaming up with drone company Wing to provide drone deliveries in the Dallas area. The company says 2 stores will be able to cover deliveries for 60,000 homes in a 6-mile radius, and customers will get their groceries or other items in 30 minutes or less. This is ABC News.
You don't have to live in Britain to get what the New York Times calls the best of British telly. Stream the UK's most brilliant series only on BritBox. Unlock acclaimed favourites including Vera and Stonehouse, starring Succession's Matthew McFadden. Plus, don't miss upcoming original dramas like Archie, the story of Hollywood's greatest leading man, Cary Grant. Lose yourself in Britain's best entertainment, only on BritBox. Start a free trial at BritBox.com.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
FM 102.1 and AM 1450. KYNT, Yankton.
You are listening to the Coach's Corner Show on KYNT, Yankton's home team. Now, let's get you caught up on Yankton High School athletics with KYNT Sports Director and the voice of the Bucks and Gazelles, Bryce Ladwig.
And welcome into the Coach's Corner. This is Bryce Ladwig. Thank you for joining us here this morning. And I am excited for another season of Yankton Athletics that is already underway, but I feel like the official start, where everyone is just on the same page when football gets underway. The Yankton Bucks victory last night versus Mitchell, 42-0. A great way to start the season and a great way to have our second show of the year kick off here from 1019 Broadway Avenue. Again, this is the Coach's Corner. I am your host, KYNT Sports Director, voice of Bucks and Gazelles, Bryce Ladwig. We will have Ryan Moores, Yankton High School Activities Director, join us. Well, technically, he's actually already in here, but we are going to take a 30-second break here shortly, and then we'll come back and catch up with Ryan. And I'm going to ask him a lot about the schedule already. That's our favorite topic that we talk to, Ryan Moores about. But this time of year, it is not snow. That was a very popular one in the winter into the spring, but now it is about the heat. So we'll get all to that here very shortly on the Coach's Corner. Don't go anywhere. Back in 30 seconds.
When I'm searching for adventure, I find it on the range. Archery challenges me to be curious, see opportunity, and welcome big challenges. It teaches me to focus and never quit until the last arrow hits. Archery allows me to show my spirit at Mount Marty University. How do you show your adventurous side? Schedule your campus visit to Mount Marty University at showyourspiritmmu.com.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. This is Bryce Ladwig in our studios, 1019 Broadway Avenue. You see on the viewers on KYNTV, Ryan Moore's in the studio. Ryan, wave at the camera. All right. he was looking for it. You were looking for it, but you found it, though.
Found it, you bet.
All right. Ryan, thanks for joining us. First time this season that we've been able to sit down and talk, so thank you for coming in. Have you gotten your Pizza Ranch pizza yet?
I had one slice. Those guys are eating it fast, so I'm going to have to get another one when we're done here.
I actually did think about that. I was like, man, you always forget. You see it on paper, but then you see the amount of football coaches that come in, you're like, I might need to get another pizza.
Yeah, they're doing a good job on that pizza in there. So I asked them to save me a couple slices, so I'll go back and grab one here when we're done.
So the school year has begun. Welcome back to the school year.
Yeah, thank you.
First week, let's talk about that. I know obviously my wife went back as well. It's just the circle of people that we know, because as her being a teacher and then me being involved with the school district with sports, it just feels like we're part of that circle. So everyone just going back at the same time. So how has your first week been?
Yeah, well, what a unique first week of school for us, from my standpoint. You know, obviously we've dealt with warm temperatures before and worked some things out where we had to adjust some practice times, but nothing like this. This week was pretty unprecedented. You know, with that extended heat situation, we obviously had to postpone a JV football game, actually cancel the JV football game, postpone the soccer games back on Monday. And it was to the point where, you know, with the heat index in the 110 to 115 range, it just absolutely wasn't safe to have the kids outside practicing. So we were very fortunate to have a nice use agreement in place with Mount Marty. I spent a lot of time with Mount Marty AD, Andy Bernardo, this week, working out schedules to get our soccer teams and our football team and our cross country team into the field house. And what a blessing that was. Our kids were able to continue to practice all week. Granted at some odd hours, but we were able to make it work. You know, we've got a use agreement too with the Archery Center for tennis, so our girls were able to get inside over there on Monday, but unfortunately for our sake, they had an event in there this week, so our tennis girls actually had to be outside, but we were out there at 6 in the morning in the dark, actually, put the lights on, so
I did
helped.
talk to Heg.
Yep.
The reason I'm sorry is because I mentioned that I said, I was asking him because we had to do a pre-recorded interview this week, obviously, and I asked him, so how nice is it still to be able to use the NFAA archery? And he went on about how great it is, but then he's like, well, they are having an archery event there, so we had to get out in the early morning and practice. And then I was like, how dare they?
Yeah, how dare they? We are fortunate to be able to use that facility when we can, and of course this week the odds just were against us that they had an event over there, so. Yeah, they were outside. The girls were for about an hour is all. Just the sun was barely coming up, so they had the lights on, and it was still pretty miserable out there that time of day, but obviously not in the bright sun. And it was just an interesting week. Like our golf team, we played in Pier really early in the week, but they had an early morning event where they got out and got on the course before it was too bad. But the rest of the week, they spent time indoors going over rules and situations, which is always good to do anyway in golf because there's so many rules that, the kids will never know them all in the first place. But anyway, it was really an interesting week that, in the winter you expect to deal with snowstorms and rescheduling things and canceling a practice here and there, but to have a prolonged week of that excessive heat, it was really beneficial for us to be able to use the field house over at Mount Marty, so we can't thank Andy and the staff over there enough. So we really appreciated that. Hopefully now this week we can move on into somewhat of a normal routine again.
Yeah, and I'll wrap it up with this, and just you just talked about it, but maybe go into it just how nice is it, that field house, to work in conjunction? Because I know Mount Marty uses Crane, they rented out all that stuff, but it just kind of goes both ways, using that field house when you can, just kind of the relationship between Yankton High School and Mount Marty.
Dr. Long over at Mount Marty and Dr. Kindle here at the Yankton School District have a great working relationship together. Andy and I have a great relationship together. Here over the past couple of years, we've put a use agreement together so that when Mount Marty needs to use our facilities, whether it be coming over to our gym for a cheer and dance practice or using it for a basketball practice or going out to Williams Field for track, and then vice versa, us going over to the field house, or again, Mount Marty going over to Crane. We have a great relationship together. It takes some coordination and some time to sit down and make sure we're not, scheduling on top of each other, but we certainly want to work together to use each other's facilities for the betterment of our athletes. And, it's just a great thing for the community that we can share these facilities and that it turns out as well as it does. So everybody should be proud of how nice it is for the school district and the college to work together.
Which one drove you more crazy? Last winter, take like a 2-week snapshot of last winter, or this 1 week?
Well, probably going to say last winter, because that got to a point where, you run out of days to reschedule things, right? So that really got complicated.
Wasn't it to a point last year, you and I were talking kind of offhand, but we were just talking about the possibility. I don't think Yankton was in that position, or maybe you could obviously tell me more about it, but having to maybe not play all the games, basketball-wise.
If you run out of dates, there's nothing you can do. So, I mean, we're not obviously going to play on Wednesdays. You're not going to play on Sundays. You don't want to play 3 days in a row if you don't have to, although if you get to a state tournament, you're going to do that. Yeah. So, yeah, you get pretty limited really quick, because sometimes your facility is not available, or the place you need to go, the facility is not available because perhaps they have a wrestling event in there. Or
they're backed up too.
Or they're backed up, exactly. I mean, you start getting backed up, you run out of dates to do things. So, fortunately, it was not a huge amount of events that we had to tinker with this week, but you lost 2 sub-varsity football games, which is obviously never something you want to do, because the football season is such that it's really tough to make games up because of the rules with contact and such. So unfortunately, those 2 games, the freshman game on Thursday and the JV game on Monday that we lost, just those are off the books, and the kids will have 1 less game for their football season this year. So we want to do everything we can to get as many things rescheduled as possible. We squeezed that West Central soccer game into that week on a Thursday. I believe it's the 21st of September, so we're going to make that work. But, yeah, knock on wood, we won't have a ton of rescheduling to do this time of year. Usually it's the winter months we got to worry about that.
It's going to be all about your relationship with Mother Nature, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we need her to cooperate with us.
Well, thank you, Ryan, for coming in here to the Coach's Corner. I look forward to doing this more and more throughout the season.
Yeah, you bet. Have a great year. We'll see you a bunch.
All right. Ryan Moore is the Yankton High School Activities Director. We'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner.
FNBO is the great big small bank. And for more than 165 years, we've been with you where you are. A bank that's ready for all your needs, both big and small. Here to help you earn more, save more, so you can do more every step of the way. It's what you can expect from the great big small bank. FNBO, independent and family owned for 6 generations, and ever so focused on you. Stop on by or visit us at fnbo.com, member FDIC.
Hello, here's to welcoming moments, big and small, embracing the unexpected, savoring life. At Avera, our nationally recognized health system will be right here with you, ready for anything. We listen to your goals and help you achieve them with care and coverage. We'll move you forward through sickness and health and every milestone in between. Avera, moving health forward. Learn more at avera.org/forward.
Truxedo is proud to have been part of the Yankton community since its start in 2000.
One of the things I love most is that they believe in promoting from within. I've been given many opportunities to advance.
Truxedo has an extensive variety of benefits available to their employees.
The work environment at Truxedo is extremely positive.
We are looking for you to join our production team. Visit www.truxedo.com/careers to apply.
Olson Pest Technicians is a family-owned business since 1966. And with over 50 years of pest management, they understand your issues, and their well-trained team will help you solve your pest problems. Issues with cockroaches, ants, bedbugs, bats, termites, spiders, rats, mice, or other creepy crawling pests? Give your home a fresh start and use the proven method of fumigation to take care of your pest problem. Olson's Pest Technicians will thoroughly get rid of pests so you can rest easy again. Call Olson Pest today, 800-KILL-BUG. That's 1-800-KILBUGS.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Call State Farm agent Rhonda Westland at 665-4411.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. CoreTrust helps your business thrive with checking, online bill pay, small business loans, credit card processing, local approval and support for government grants and loans, investments to grow your hard-earned assets, and insurance to protect them. All from CoreTrust, the community bank that's right down the street and everywhere you want us to be. Visit CoreTrustBank.com today.
Member FDIC.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Bryce Ladwig here. We keep moving on. Let's talk Yankton Bucks football. A 42-0 victory over the Mitchell Colonels last night at historic Crane Youngworth Field. If you listened on KYNT, thank you. Watched on KYNTV, thank you again. It was a great night for football, for broadcasting and the fans, but I'm sure for the coaches, even better being joined. Head coach Brady Muth, defensive coordinator Justin Olson. Coaches, welcome to your first 2023 Football Coaches Corner show.
Well, thank you, Bryce. We're ready to kick it off, I guess.
It's great to be back.
All right, well, how did it feel last night getting just that first game, right? Does it mean something different? You just want to get it out of the way almost, right? Leading up in practice?
Yeah, I mean, fall camp is good from a coach's point of view because you get to focus just on football and there's a lot of work that gets done. But most of us that coach football played football, and you know that after 2 weeks of beating on each other, it's really time to get back to business and have an opponent. And so that's the big thing, is just having somebody to compete against. You know that everything's going to be just one step quicker. You know that the hits are going to be that much harder. And so, it's just exciting to get to that point of the game or that point of the week where you get to prep and then finally play somebody else. It was an exciting night.
Yeah, kind of like a caged animal. These guys were, been preparing for this ever since we lost, our last game from last season. And these guys were ready and raring to go. And, it was fun to just see them get out there and be able to do what they've been working so hard do and show the community what they're about.
Yeah, and, the heat index wasn't nearly as high as it was earlier in the week, but was it still pretty hot out in the field?
I mean, I think it was more the humidity than anything. Yeah. The other thing, too, is, and we practiced all week on turf, but there is a difference in, if you talk to the people that understand the science on it, like our trainer and our strength and conditioning staff, but there is something to the way your muscles fire and game speed. There's Trevor was explaining it to me because I was like, we're not going to have any problems with cramping because we've taken care of ourselves and we're in shape, but there's going to be something. And then also just the feel of the turf with your feet. You see a lot of people cramping in their calves, and a lot of that obviously is due to nutrition and hydration, but some of that too is just the way your foot operates on turf. It's a little bit different. Like I said, the guys that are smarter than me could explain it a lot better, but it has something to do with that. And so that's why you see a little bit of just getting used to playing at that speed and on that surface and in that style. And so, but we do have to get in better shape.
Well, I suffer from full body cramps, so just one big one, guys. Okay, we'll figure it out. All right, let's start talking offense. We'll start with the clear, obvious first thing to talk about: Lucas Kamshoff under center as a starter for the first time. And except for the first few drives opening, we talked to Coach Terry Huber in our post game, just getting those nerves out. You had a couple false starts and stuff like that. But once the offense got settled in, moving down the field, and it seemed like he was really being a train conductor back there.
Some of that was I'm sure just first game of your career at quarterback jitters, and I think there was a pretty good crowd last night. And so, playing in that atmosphere for a high school kid, there's a lot of things going on, not just physically but emotionally and psychologically. And so the first couple drives, in the game, it's not the start we wanted. That's got to be fixed because we want to start fast all the time. But the other part of that too is we were anticipating one front, thought that we might see one other one. We were more prepared for one front than the other. Last year when we ran into trouble in their odd front, they would drop 8. When we got a little sticky last night, they were in drop 7 situations. We had a run check built in, but it's hard to do that against that 4-man surface. It just doesn't fit as well. And I don't think we were as comfortable checking into that run play when they were in drop situations. So that was part of it too. Once we got to the sideline, and I thought Lucas and Coach Huber, Coach Huber will talk to this more, but just the communication between those two. Lucas is, I don't want to say he's a pro because he's a high school kid, but he's about as professional as you can be in his approach to being a quarterback here. And so the communication, I know last night was one thing that really helped us get through all that.
Well, unofficial KYNT stats, Lucas Kamshoff, 11 of 18 last night, 173. Obviously, the passing touchdown. But the first touchdown of the season, I am a sucker for the pylon plays, okay? So when the pylon gets knocked over, that's my favorite play already this season. Diving to his left, it was a great moment. It was a great way to start his senior season and the Bucks' offense senior season.
Yeah, and the other thing that's impressive about that play, and just to cap off that drive, was And this is the maturation very quickly of a kid in his first start at quarterback. Was he knew his team needed some kind of a play, and he has the ball in his hand every play, so he needed to make the best of that opportunity and give them a play. And it was a physical play. So when you have things like that, guys rally around you, and it really sparked us. It wasn't just one score that started it. It was the way we scored that really got us going and got everybody firing. And we were running a little bit quicker tempo after that. And so, I mean, that he does have an impressive arm and is good in the pass game, but that play right there does more for me as far as evaluating him on a Saturday morning, because he knew this is what his team needed, and he did it.
Well, you know that I love my nicknames, and we talked about it a little bit when you first got here, but old Big Diesel, Shaler Platt, just carrying some Mitchell Kernels off his shoulder pads last night, just high-stepping through the lines. Just really fun to watch him last night.
Yeah, he runs with a high knee. He's a dangerous runner. I mean, you can see, too, when he gets tackled, those are body blows, and by the 12th round, teams don't like to take body blows anymore. It gets uncomfortable, and so a guy like Shaler is only going to wear you down. Our job is to make sure that he stays fresh. I thought Evan Sert came in as a changeup guy. I mean, I think last night you saw the dynamic between those two, just different runners. And
did Sert get faster?
I mean, he was pound for pound our strongest guy in our off-season program. Yeah. I mean, so he's just a little monster. And you think that because he's a little bit slight, he's going to be an easy tackle, but he's not. And you got to get your hands on him first, but he's going to win the center of gravity battle every time. And so it was just fun to see both those guys operate at a high level. And I think a lot of that has to be said about our offensive line and really just the development in that whole position group as a whole.
I mean, you're already talking about my favorite part of this entire show today isn't any of the position or skill position players. It's the Yankton Moving Company, the offensive line. Yeah. It starts with them, right? The protection, but also the just gaps that opened up for Platt and Cirque last night. It was just really incredible.
And the other thing too, for the most part, there weren't a whole lot of assignment busts.
Yeah.
And so, we brought back one starter on our offensive line, and so to have a whole new unit and to play that clean of a game your first time out, it's something definitely positive. We got to get better. I mean, we didn't grade out at 100%, but they did have a good start.
Let's start talking Yankton defense. A shutout last night, Coach Olson. A great way to start the season there, but some of the things I noticed right away is the pressure that Yankton was able to put on. It was Jealous and Chenoweth for Mitchell. Just kind of your 30,000-foot thoughts on that.
Well, that's pretty high up, but I'll reel back.
Drop it to 15.
I'll reel back in to give you kind of what we kind of saw from the sideline, and we saw again, even before we set them out there, we were kind of excited to kind of see these guys play. I mean, we thought we had a pretty special group, and we're deep in some spots and not as deep in others. But as Coach was talking, our biggest concern was keeping players fresh. You're looking at Shaler Platt and Matthew Sheldon, both sides, Tucker Gilmore, Austin Goebel, and some more guys in there that we're going to go both ways. And with the heat, a little concerned about that, but we did find some ways to keep them fresh. We had some other guys step up that we knew that we're going to be able to do that. We informed them that it was going to be a rotation, and we need everybody. So, and it worked out. Yeah, the pressure came from the edges. We kind of lost Tyson Prouty, who's been working his tail off all off season to have one whale of a year, and he's down but not out. So we'll just have to be patient to hear what happens there. But other people stepped up, and that's what our mentality is. Next man up. And when we run in, Matthew Sheldon and Shaler Platt in the middle, I don't know if there was a call that you made on the defensive side that didn't involve those two in some way, shape, or form. But I'm really excited on how we have this set up right now. We have a lot of athletes on there, and that was our goal, is to get those athletes on there. And I thought they did a heck of a job holding Mitchell to minimal yardage and first downs. And whenever you do that, and then the goose egg on the scoreboard is is icing on top of the cake. And the JV defense went out there and they held their own against the starters for Mitchell. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I was very happy, very excited. Our work is not done. We had some coverage busts and some path to the football, that we need to work on. But it was a good start for us. Very happy.
Well, peek behind the curtain. There is a point to this. is we in the booth don't keep live tackles because we're already trying to keep all the other stats, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go back usually on Monday and watch it back and keep tackles and stuff like that. Well, the reason I'm saying that is when we do our awards of the game in the post game, usually it's pretty clear, right, who the defensive player of the game should be, right? And there was a lot of performances last night, but it was actually an issue trying to really figure out who. But that's actually a good thing because when we were looking back or just talking amongst ourselves, who was the guy? And last night, I mean, Carson Ness, I believe, had the interception and stuff like that, but there was so many helmets flying toward the ball. There was multiple Bucks involved with almost every tackle. It just really felt like it, not to sound cliche, but really a team effort on that side of the ball.
Right, and that's kind of what we preach. I mean, it's, you're in practice, everyone's getting to the football. We have a second whistle. If you don't get there, you're pulled off the next rep, and someone else comes in, and that's going to be our mentality. Going forward is all hats to the football, because good things happen when you get everyone there. And I wish we could have created a few more turnovers, but that's one guy I failed to mention as a two-way player too, is Carson Ness, and he's back there in a role where a lot of these guys, when you graduate the people that we did, we had three-year starters.
Yeah.
Tyler Stoller was a 4-year starter. He played some defense his freshman year, but when we're trying to replace all those guys and then have the performance that we did, it's going to be exciting, and hopefully we can stay healthy and continue to grow as a unit in the secondary, in the linebacker crew, and then up front. We have a pretty good rotation going on, I think. So,
you see me smirk. The only reason I smirked when you mentioned Tyler Stoller is because whenever you say 4-year start, it always makes me go like, "Wow."
Yeah.
Looking back, just wow.
Well, but Trevor Paulson was another guy that was a 4-year starter.
Yeah.
I mean, we've and the interesting thing about the way this roster is built is we've got our program built to to a point where if you're playing as a sophomore or a freshman, you're a special player. And that's the way we want it to be. When we want an upperclassman heavy team, and not that those young guys can't play, but just the leadership and the experience says a lot. And so the other thing is I think our coaching staff does a great job of developing people at the lower levels, and so giving those guys time to develop so that when they get up, they're ready to go and they're polished is only going to make us better. And so we're starting to get there. It took us a couple of years to start to build things the right way and get things kind of settled in where we want them to be, but we're there now, and you can kind of see the difference on the field.
Well, it is Spearfish Week, and we'll talk about them later, probably around midweek. Yeah. But for now, to celebrate this victory, coaches, thanks for joining us on the Coaches Corner, and go Bucks.
All right, thanks, Bryce.
All right, thanks, Bryce.
All right, we'll take a break, come back, and continue talking Yankton Bucks football here on KYNT and KYNTV.
Do you have dry, sore, or irritated eyes? If so, you may have dry eye. At Vision Care Associates, we offer a simple, fast, and non-surgical procedure to treat black glands in your eyelids that can help your eyes to feel comfortable again. Schedule an appointment with Dr. Fieser to find out about dry eye treatment with our newest technology.
Vision Care Associates, where the health of your eyes comes first.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Don't gamble. Insure with MT&RC Smith Insurance in Yankton, your independent agent for home, business, auto, life, and bonds. MTRCSmithInsurance.com.
At Triple Time Rudy's, you get convenient access to quality fuel products. Plus, you'll also find quality South Dakota products like Dimmock cheese and premium meats from the Kaler and Renner lockers. With a local-friendly feel and unique product offering, Triple Time Rudy's is your local convenience store that supports schools and events and provides fuel discounts to Yankton's largest employers. For all of your daily fill-ups and convenience needs, pull into Triple Time Rudy's at 17th and Broadway.
Attention homeowners, if you've been on the fence about selling, I'd love the opportunity to sit and visit with you. With low inventory, now would be a good time to call me, Deb Speck at Vision Real Estate. I'll provide you with a free market analysis and a no-pressure approach. Call me at 605-664-5555 to find out if now is the right time to make a move.
Know what happens when you keep your hard-earned assets at First Dakota National Bank? You can rest assured that your accounts are protected to the maximum allowed by the FDIC. And those funds stay local. Businesses and organizations are positively impacted. The whole community benefits. You can invest your resources just about anywhere today. But if you keep them safe, earn a good return, and benefit the local community, why would you invest anywhere else? First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
Being able to enjoy the warm weather is great. Playing sports, fishing, boating, and just lounging outdoors. But with the warm weather also comes skin issues and concerns, like rash, poison ivy, and other allergies and sunburns. At Yankton Rexall, we have a great selection of over-the-counter products that can help provide you some relief. So don't waste a minute of the warm weather suffering.
Celebrating 100 years, your hometown pharmacy since 1923, Yankton Rexall.
Scheduling an appointment with Yankton Medical Clinic has never been easier. You don't even have to pick up the phone. Visit yanktonmedicalclinic.com and click the self-scheduling link. It's that simple. You can self-schedule with every provider in family medicine and pediatrics, along with select providers in internal medicine and obstetrics gynecology. It only takes a few minutes and fits into your schedule. Simplify your day by scheduling online with Yankton Medical Clinic. So convenient, so much care, so close to home.
The other day, a gal came into the UPS store to drop off a package. On her way out, she noticed the print sample wall and asked if we could print invitations. The answer was, yes, we can. Hi, this is Doug at the UPS store in Yankton and Vermilion. For over 7 years now, the UPS store has been helping hundreds of customers with their printing needs. From basic copies to business cards and invitations to posters, we can print them. Stop out and ask about our current print specials and see how we can help with your printing needs.
Sports injuries can be the result of competitive activities, but can also happen by just participating in leisure activities too. If you're experiencing pain as the result of your chosen activity, consider chiropractic care. I'm Dr. Mackenzie Erlinson with First Chiropractic Centers. We have experienced chiropractors that work with sports injuries every day. Our treatment options are aimed to minimize pain, reduce recovery time, and reduce risk of future injuries. Visit First Chiropractic Centers, making life better, one adjustment at a time.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Bryce Ladwig being joined by Coach Terry Huber, Coach Matt Decker. We continue talking Yankton Bucks football, a 42-0 victory last night versus the Mitchell Colonels. A great night at historic Crane Youngworth Field. Coaches, welcome into your first 2023 fall coaches show. I know you've been staying up all night. I'm assuming in the level of anxiety that you've had this week, it was probably the Mitchell game, and then right under it, the Coach's Corner show, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it might have been Coach's
I'm pretty
Corner.
nervous. Just interchangeable. Which one? I don't know.
It varies back and forth. Yeah.
Well, you guys got here to get some pizza. You guys just hanging out in the conference room. Let's see, it's always nice, I'm assuming, to be able to hang out with the other coaches of other sports as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter what the sport is. I've preached to everybody. It's Yankton athletics. We absolutely love hearing success stories. There's some sports that I don't know the ins and outs of, but it's really fun to hear the coaches talk about them. Their passions it's just as high as ours are. So we really appreciate the time that we get to spend hanging out with those guys.
Well, let's start talking Yankton Bucks offense last night. Pretty good night. It was all right. 42-0 victory. We talked, Coach Huber, in our post game immediately, and of course, leave it to Brett. I'm gonna find the one fly in the ointment. That's not what I'm trying to do, but it just kind of paints a picture of the first three or four drives. And I talked to Muth about it a little bit too, but some false starts, just kind of 3 and out, stuff like that, and you're wondering to yourself, and the other time you're wondering like, what's going on? But then you realize a lot of these guys, this is their first varsity starting snaps.
Yep.
You have a new quarterback in there. Starting varsity and everything, and it just takes a while to gel, right?
Absolutely. These guys, that's what we kind of talked about all fall camp, and especially, sitting down with these coaches on, who needs to be where, who's working best, who's gelling together, and I think, you saw it settle in. The first couple drives, like you said, it was a lot of tense guys who were a little bit nervous, and talking with Coach Muth a little bit last night, these guys have been waiting for a long time to get this spotlight. to get their dream of, I'm finally on the field. I'm that guy that all these little kids are looking up to. All these fans are cheering me on. So you got to always remember that they are high schoolers. It's a big spotlight for them. But I thought they stepped up and they started working very well together last night.
Coach Decker, receiver-wise, first game, how'd the wide receivers feel, and how'd Campshaw feel with that kind of connection, running routes and stuff, the timing and stuff? Because I know game reps are always different than practice reps.
Absolutely. I think our wideouts did a pretty good job last night as far as just our chemistry with Lucas, and I think they have a very good connection. And Tucker Gilmore had a great game last night, and so did Austin and Pete and a couple other guys, but it was first game jitters, that's for sure. And those guys kind of know where the expectation is. And they had a good game, don't get me wrong, but I think they know they could have improved a little bit on that game. And I think they're still hungry, and they know that the next game they want to get better and better. So that's the sweet thing about these wide receivers is every game they want to keep getting better and better. So it's exciting to watch.
Yep.
Well, that Tucker Gilmore touchdown you're referring to, what a beautiful play. I mean, yes, he was open, but here's the thing. It was a solid route by him, and then also Campshaw just put it in the tightest little window, and it was just beautiful because Gilmore was able to catch it in stride and take it for 6.
Yeah, I think that's, it's kind of fun. I know Decker's probably doing the same, but I'm just looking back to practice this week, and I saw him do that, 6-7 times, where he squeezed it right in between the two, and we all look at each other like, wow, that's a beautiful football. And, he does have a really, really phenomenal arm. But, we talked last night after the game, his legs last night, Camp was looking phenomenal on his legs. And he's kind of a bruiser. I mean, he's not a small guy by any means. And I think some people they're kind of sleeping on his deceptive speed and strength. So it's really fun watching him go out there.
Well, I want to talk about the Yankton Moving Company.
Absolutely.
The offensive line, as I call them, the unsung heroes. Just, Caden Wavernick, returning starter, but everyone else pretty much new as far as starting on that line, and just the job they did last night, giving Campshaw the protection he needs, gets the receivers time to develop their routes, but most importantly, last night at least, was getting that run game going and just opening it up, sometimes some big gaps.
Yeah, I mean, we just look at first offensive play of the game. I think it was 10-yard run by Shaler, and just watching that, we couldn't have blocked it much better. And it's really fun when your guys take it to heart, that position, the selfless act of you're not going to be the ones getting noticed. A guy like you, Bryce, who brings it out, that's really phenomenal, because there's a lot of guys who don't do that. But like reading the paper this morning and seeing Shaler Platt giving huge credit to his O-lineman, that's why they do it. And they've been working really well, working their butts off this offseason to get bigger, stronger, and faster. I always tell them the age of, a 310-pound, slow-moving lineman is kind of passing. We don't see that anymore. It doesn't fit necessarily with offenses anymore. And they're phenomenal athletes. People tend to say lineman. He's a lineman. He's just a lineman. When you truly break it down and you watch them, they're some of the best athletes on the field, which is really fun to see.
I'm definitely a Yankton offensive line advocate.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Starts with them.
Yeah,
starts with them.
Beautiful.
But it does start with them, but the ball still has to be carried, and let's start talking about Big Diesel Platt.
Yes.
All right, so Shaler Platt.
Big Diesel.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, you know what? I'm a nickname guy, Decker.
Yes,
okay?
I love it.
So Big Diesel comes through there and
cracking me up this morning.
high stepping through the line, right? And you say this, there's sometimes when I say this in the past, and it's just meant like not in a literal sense, but kind of a tough runner. But when I say there was actual Mitchell Colonels draped off of his shoulder pads, multiple carries, and he was just kind of taking them on like, all right, come on, buddy, let's go, let's get on here. We're getting this first down.
Absolutely. He doesn't quit. He doesn't have a quit in him. It's so much fun to watch, and seeing it on film too. And just knowing Shaler himself, he's going to do anything and everything he can for this team. He's a very selfless guy, but he loves to work hard. I think he just thrives off that. And it was just so much fun watching him last night. Like you said, he's kind of a high runner, which, at first when he was a sophomore, I was like, man, he's got to get that chest down a little bit. But, it works for him, and he knows his body. He plays it very well. And his changing and his reads from last year to this year, that's one thing that was a focal point for him is, reading that center's butt, reading those linebackers, where's that cutback lane. I saw multiple times on Trap and Power yesterday where he's finding that perfect read, popping that foot in the ground and he's getting out in into open space. He's doing a great job with that.
And then you have Evan Sirk. Someone in the booth last night tried to implement another nickname. I don't know if it's going to stick. And that happens.
That's a guy that needs a nickname.
But we're thinking maybe the Razor.
I like it. I like it. The Razor.
We're thinking, all right. But sometimes nicknames come and go, and you say it once, and you're like, I don't know. I'm going to work on that one. No, but Sirk, nice change of pace. Not just a nice change of back, a nice running back in general, but the compliment to Platt is Evan Sirk. And, it's not a secret, not a huge frame, Evan Sirk, but yet a powerful runner. And when he gets, 3 or 4 steps with the ball, he reaches another speed, but is able to cut left and right seamlessly.
Yeah, being a track coach too, I got to see that all spring, watching him on the track, seeing him fly around, running that 200 and and the 100, just seeing how quick he can get there. He's the guy who gets to be a little bit tough to find behind those linemen, behind that moving company. He gets out there, he gets out one step, and I'm just saying good luck to anybody who's going to try to catch that kid. Between him and Goebel out there, 2 of the fastest guys.
They're like slingshots.
Exactly,
they really are. You just wind them up and just...
Yeah, so, we watched Sirk getting out on the edge there, and I'm like, this is just beautiful. And, the thing is he showed that last year. Obviously didn't have as much last year, but he had... he's had a lot of speed, but he's picked up his toughness and he's really gotten stronger. But that speed has not gone away. If anything, he's even faster than he was last year, which is just incredible.
It's just scary.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Man, but there's so many guys to talk about. Tucker Gilmore we kind of already talked about. But let's talk about him a little bit more, Decker, and just the kind of role that he's going to be relied on this year, not only on the field, but kind of as a leader of that receiving core.
Oh, he's definitely our lead guy on the receiving core. He's matured since his sophomore year, and his body's grown to where he's catching balls in traffic, getting hit in the air like he did in our scrimmage and coming down with them, which is, we call that big boy football. Like that's impressive to do, and then to sacrifice your body, get a first down or even score, that's something that the other guys see and they're like, okay, this guy he's kind of our dude that's leading us this year. And he makes my job really easy because he just leads those guys, which is all you can ask for a coach. So, but I think he's going to have a great year and showed it last night.
Yeah.
Well, so many guys to talk about. We'll talk about them throughout the season, but am I forgetting anything you guys can think about right away? We're always going to forget about talk about someone, but that's just, I just hope with the 6 sessions of Bucks football I talk about, I hit everyone.
Yeah, I guess, I just kind of want to highlight some of those young guys who have stepped up, like you said, there's a lot of new, and I talked about the new guys in the O-line last night, but, we got Ness coming in, Zarbach coming in, Goebel coming in, Peyton Peterson coming in, Connor Slava. There's these guys. We talked last year. We have a ton of weapons, and these guys were in that echelon of like guys who we could use, and now they're all guys who need to see the field, and it makes my job a lot harder on how do we get them all a fair amount of touches, and so that's really tough. Like Decker said, you got a guy like Tucker who is big framed but deceptively fast. You watch him coming across the middle. There's 2 guys who thought they had a good angle on him, and they did not. They didn't understand how fast he was. Ness is a guy who works very well with his body. Goebel, he has worked on his physicality and route running. He's trying to get that down a little better, but he's so fast that it's almost tough to tell him to slow down and plant on the top of a route. Whenever I know he's just going to burn that guy because he's so fast. Pete's been very crisp, and then Slava coming in and helping out. It's just been really fun to watch those guys. And then, some of the big bruisers coming in, Frankie Infeld, he's a guy who I rely on a lot, especially in the blocking area right now. He's improved his hands quite a bit, but it's fun to see how physical he's being on the blocking side of things as one of our receivers because, Decker and we talk about this a lot. If you want to play receiver here, it doesn't matter your size or strength, you have to be able to block. So they've really been working on the offseason on that.
All right, no pressure. It has to be fast, but 2 things I want you to hit on real quick, all right?
Yep.
No pressure. All right. Talk a little bit about, and amongst others, everyone, I know a lot of Yankton Bucks came in to play last night, so it's really impossible. But, for example, like Tate Bestie came in and I was at quarterback. And usually when, when kind of the third string quarterback in the varsity roster at least would come in, you're just really thinking initially in the broadcast booth, you're kind of thinking like, all right, it's going to kind of run, it's kind of run with the clock. But no, he's got some throws. He has an arm on him. He's fast. And it seemed the biggest thing is the command of the offense that he brought out there. It just really seemed like, hey, is this a varsity roster out there right now? Starters.
Yeah, Tate, he's an extremely intelligent guy to have back there. That's one of the first things I see is he is smart, he's poised. Practice has been really fun to watch him. He's making our defense better, that's for sure.
Scout team player of the week.
Absolutely, yeah. He was our player of the week for scout team there, and he is just slinging it like crazy. And he's got two great guys to look up to. I mean, he's looking up to Camp and Nelly, which is really fun to see him working in with that group of guys and understanding it's your job now. Like, your job is to take over and control the offense, and I really love watching what he's doing out there.
All right, super fast. I forgot. How do we not talk more about Matthew Sheldon?
Oh, yeah.
In the H-back position, mainly.
Shelly he's that guy. You talk about a guy, you get into whatever you want to call him, franchise player, whatever it is. He's that dude. He's fast, he's strong, he's physical, he's smart, and he is a leader out there.
If I was to draw a football player,
right,
it'd probably turn out kind of like Matthew Sheldon.
He's got the whole package. He's catching the ball, running the ball, blocking for us, and we definitely feel a little bit of a loss when he's not in there, and that's a good thing for him. That means that he's doing things right. Last year, it was like, wow, this kid, he coming in as a sophomore, and the H-back position for us is a very difficult position to learn. To have mentally down, but also to physically taxing, and then he goes out there on defense and kills it as well. So it's just, I saw some of those tackles he was making last night, and I felt bad for those guys a little bit.
All right, well, boys, we're having too much fun in here. We got to get you guys out of here. Right. But thanks for coming into the studio, and we'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate it, Bryce. Thank you.
All right, Coach Decker, Coach Huber on the Coach's Corner. We continue talking Yankton Bucks football when we come back.
Investing in your home is easier and more fun when you have local choices. This is Cody Miles, owner of Upper Midwest Garage Door. We offer a wide variety of American-made, unique Clopay garage doors, free in-home consultations, a digital preview of the new garage doors on your home, and the expert small-town service you deserve. Get started today with your local independent Clopay dealer, Upper Midwest Garage Door. Give us a call, stop by, or learn more at uppermidwestgaragedoor.com.
Bring the crew to Pete's Ranch in Yankton. This is Annie, and we have legendary pizza and chicken just waiting for you on our buffet. Let us know what you're craving, and we'll make it fresh and bring you the first slice. Or let us deliver right to your front door. Your locally owned Yankton Pizza Ranch on Broadway, 665-1222.
It's where life tastes better. Surround them up and head her down to the Pizza Ranch. Whoa, that's good.
When I'm searching for adventure, I find it on the range. Archery challenges me to be curious, see opportunity, and welcome big challenges. It teaches me to focus and never quit until the last arrow hits. Archery allows me to show my spirit at Mount Marty University. How do you show your adventurous side? Schedule your campus visit to Mount Marty University at showyourspiritmmu.com.
FNBO is the great big small bank, and for more than 165 years, we've been with you where you are. A bank that's ready for all your needs, both big and small. Here to help you earn more, save more, so you can do more every step of the way. It's what you can expect from the great big small bank. FNBO, independent and family owned for 6 generations, and ever so focused on you. Stop on by or visit us at fnbo.com, member FDIC.
Hello. Here's to welcoming moments, big and small, embracing the unexpected, savoring life. At Avera, our nationally recognized health system will be right here with you, ready for anything. We listen to your goals and help you achieve them with care and coverage. We'll move you forward through sickness and health and every milestone in between. Avera, moving health forward. Learn more at avera.org/forward.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Bryce Ladwig here in studio, 1019 Broadway Avenue. We continue talking Yankton Bucks football. Coach Dan Schwach in the studio. Coach, good morning. How are things on that side of the table?
Good, Bryce. Good morning.
So the music's still going here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that happened last night to us in the game too.
It did.
So,
yeah. So I was
okay.
actually going to send someone from our booth initially to like let them know because I didn't know if they knew right away because it was a good while. And
Yeah,
I was kind of like,
I think they were thinking, oh, it's the play clock, and then what did we do wrong?
yeah, like, do I have the score? Like, what's wrong, right? And then like, no, it's the music. It was not a bad song.
It was okay. I mean, I almost didn't even notice it was happening.
Yeah,
So.
you're just kind of jamming out there, like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's not supposed to be on, but. All right, let's start talking Bucks football. Let's start with the varsity side. You on the defensive line coach and just kind of overseeing that. They did a nice job last night getting pressure on Jealous and Chenoweth and just consistent pressure and really making them uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, all fall camp has just kind of been about explosiveness. It's kind of been our term. Just lots of 6-point, 3-point drills, getting off, hitting the sled. And I watched a little bit of film this morning, and that first play, we were on their side of the line of scrimmage and manhandling them. So consistent pressure. I think I saw 77 yards total in the game. So run stopping was good. Edge guys got some pass rushing going. Was sure a major bummer to lose Tyson Prouty for the game with a little injury. So we're hoping the best for him. But Edley Amaro came in and did a good job. Yeah. Frankie Envelt came in off the edge too, did a great job. He's kind of been playing more and more there this year for us. Those big guys in the middle, Riker Freng and Derek Beal. I mean, last year we kind of put on the tape and their guards are sometimes getting to our backers, and I said it's not going to happen this year, and those two held on their own. So
the defensive line, just like all the other positions we've talked about in the show so far today, just not new names, but just names that you're not used to saying as much because of the amount of graduates that Yankton, the football team, had. But a lot of guys that were hungry and doing a great job. Amaro came in, as you mentioned, and he did a really nice job getting the backfield as well. He had a couple of really nice tackles where he sealed his weak side edge.
Yeah, I think the secret's out on him. He's a really good athlete. We're just working on polishing up some football things, but the 1-2 was about an inch past his fingers on that quick screen. Not a lot of guys can get across the line that fast and get a hand up on a quick bubble screen there. So we're excited about his prospects. And the nice thing, too, of those names I mentioned, I mean, some offensive line guys rotated in, but for the most part, we have a pretty solid defensive line. So on a hot night like last night, you could tell that probably contributed a lot to that pretty big second quarter.
Well, Mother Nature did not want your JV team for the Yankton Bucks to play a football game yet, as the game on the 21st was canceled due to the heat index, and that's just unfortunate. I mean, that's just a good way to kind of let a lot of those guys get some reps in, especially the guys lower on the depth chart, if you will, or depth guys, and just really unfortunate the heat wouldn't let that happen.
Yeah, we were bummed, and it was against Mitchell too, so we were kind of curious what kind of looks they might give us a little bit of an idea other than going in blind, but.
Because usually systems work top down, right? So they try to implement.
We were thinking we'd see. I mean, we were pretty sure they weren't going to just throw in some different kind of scheme just on a Monday. Yeah, so at least give us a thought and then get an idea to figure out the roster who was playing where, maybe a little bit earlier. But yeah, that was a bummer. But looks like this Monday the weather should be pretty nice and against a pretty good team in Pierce. So we'll should be fun. Get some guys. Well, we got to play a lot of those guys last night in the third, fourth quarter. So,
and you love when that happens because I mean, there's some games where that's not going to be able to happen. So.
Oh, absolutely correct. I mean, I always say that's my goal to the guys that I want to be flustered, trying to figure out to make sure I'm getting all of you in and getting you as much as possible. So it's a good type of flustered.
Well, they did an excellent job last night. I'm talking obviously the entire team, but the defensive line especially, they did a really nice job. And as I said, I'm just going to have to get used to saying the certain names I'm saying all year long. It's just really impressive. And Coach, good job on you for making that happen. We will talk to you next week, right?
Yep, you bet.
All right, awesome. Let's Coach Dan Schwach, Yankton Bucks football. And we're taking another break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner.
Truxedo is proud to have been part of the Yankton community since its start in 2000.
One of the things I love most is that they believe in promoting from within. I've been given many opportunities to advance.
Truxedo has an extensive variety of benefits available to their employees.
The work environment at Truxedo is extremely positive.
we are looking for you to join our production team. Visit www.truxedo.com/careers to apply.
Olson Pest Technicians is a family-owned business since 1966. And with over 50 years of pest management, they understand your issues, and their well-trained team will help you solve your pest problems. Issues with cockroaches, ants, bedbugs, bats, termites, spiders, rats, mice, or other creepy crawling pests? Give your home a fresh start and use the proven method of fumigation to take care of your pest problem. Olson's Pest Technicians will thoroughly get rid of pests so you can rest easy again. Call Olson Pest today, 800-KILL-BUG. That's 1-800-KILBUGS.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Call State Farm agent Rhonda Westland at 665-4411.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. CoreTrust helps your business thrive with checking, online bill pay, small business loans, credit card processing, local approval and support for government grants and loans, investments to grow your hard-earned assets, and insurance to protect them. All from CoreTrust, the community bank that's right down the street and everywhere you want us to be. Visit CoreTrustBank.com today.
Member FDIC.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner show. I could call it the Savvy show. Jason Savvy, Blake Savvy joining us here. Coaches for the Yankton Bucks football program. Coach, it's going to take me a while to get used to that, to be completely honest with you. So I'm going to call you Savvy Senior and Junior. I'm just joking. I'm not going to do that.
Everybody's trying to figure that part out.
I heard Savvy Squared just like a minute ago, right? So from Coach Schwach. So I don't know if you guys like that or not.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. All right. Well, let's start talking your coach's positions, kind of the varsity, and then we'll move into some ninth grade football talk. Coach Jason Savvy, let's start talking running backs. And, oh, boy, do we have something to talk about. Those two backs, multiple carriers last night. Solacek got in as well. But Shaler Platt and Evan Sirk, great complement pieces to each other. Shaler Platt last night, kind of the high stepper in last. I know he can do both things, but more of a power back last night. And then Sirk just really quick, planting that foot and just like a slingshot getting across that offensive line.
Yeah. Kind of call it the little thunder and lightning there.
Yeah.
In the backfield, you got Shaler, who's just a tough runner, strong, back, and then
Big Diesel.
You got and then you got Evan, that he can hide behind that line a little bit, and he's so shifty, and like you said, he's got that quick step change of direction, and then if he gets a opening, he's gone. So, and it was nice to see them both have a very successful night running the ball, and credit to obviously the offensive line and opening up some nice holes for those guys. But yeah, the running game was key, and those guys did a great job.
Coach Blake Savvy, secondary last night for the Yankton Bucks football program. Nice job. Carson S had a big interception, but it was just a lot of players. And this is the problem I'm having all morning so far is for the last 3 years, I've been saying the same 12, 15 names, right? And I've said a lot of these guys that were playing last night's names throughout the years, but just not in starting roles, not as often. So I'm trying to rack my brain like, oh, wow, yeah, he played well. But just as an overall secondary unit, they really flustered Jealous and Chenoweth and a lot of their throws, and just really didn't even let plays develop.
Yeah. No, we're really excited about the crew that we have out there, and I mean, an athletic bunch that flies around, and Carson made a great play on a play that could have easily caught us as well, a little reverse pass, but he had good eyes and was able to go back and grab it. And it's just good to see guys get, kind of thrown into some scenarios and have to play out of stuff on Friday. Like you said, it's a lot of new guys back there, and so to see them have to defend some vertical routes and get balls in the air that they got to go try and make a play on, it was really good to see them just kind of react and play out of those scenarios.
Yeah, it was a great victory for Yankton last night. I'm looking forward to watching this season develop. Let's start talking ninth grade football. And before we get into the canceled game, but Coach Savvy's working together. That's neat. Father, son, and just seeing that combination out there. Who's taking care of offense this year? Coach Jason Savvy, assume you are again. And then Blake taking over defense. When you knew that you were going to be doing that, were you guys excited?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was something that obviously as a father, you got to, not many fathers get to coach their sons, at the high school level, and then let alone, get to coach with them later on. So it's exciting for me, and, it was more exciting that, Blake was able to come back home here and teach and coach now in Yankton, and it's been fun. A little more transition. He was up in Flandreau and did the offense mostly up there, so a little switch for him, but he's picked that up pretty quick, and so it's been good. We had a good group of kids, and we've been plugging away. It's unfortunate our game got canceled Thursday, but we totally understand the conditions and everything that went along with it. So we're ready to get into this next week and get prepared for our first game, and the boys are obviously itching to play.
Yep, Brookings couldn't handle the heat. I'm just joking. The heat index 110 degrees. Right. No, but as you mentioned, the game was canceled, and up here on the 28th, as you had mentioned, Coach. But then it's kind of a brief. I know it's kind of almost an impossible ask of you two coaches because it could go really deep. But it's kind of overall view, it's kind of philosophy of this year's ninth grade football team. We haven't seen them yet, so it's kind of what are we going to be looking for?
Yeah, there's a lot of athletes in this group, and guys that I think they do enjoy being on the football field and at practice. Like, they have a lot of fun, and that's always that balance. But they do a good job of reining it in when needed to, and they're a group of guys that definitely are excited to be Buck football players. And so I think we're really excited to see them go against a different jersey a few times here and see what they can put out on the field. They definitely, Coach Muth says it really well. They have a lot of potential, but now we got to go see what that can actually do here as the season comes.
All right, Coach Jason Savvy, anything to add to that, or is that he pretty much kind of cover it?
No. I mean, he's right. We got a good group of kids, and it's 3 weeks, I think, of practice now, and they're ready to kind of show what they can do against another opponent. It's tough constantly going up against each other, and this week was a crazy.
You want to see another set of colors, right?
Right,
yeah.
Absolutely. So, and how it works. There's guys that'll step on the field and probably surprise us, and so we as coaches get to see a lot when the games come, when it's game time and stuff, and see which kids step up and how they perform. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, coaches, always appreciate you coming in, and sorry for the briefer. We've gone over almost every one of our segments so far, but that's just the way this goes in the first with football coaches show of the season. Thank you both for coming in, and good luck in your season. We'll talk next week.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, the Savvies, Coach Jason Savvy and Coach Blake Savvy join us. We'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner.
Do you have dry, sore, or irritated eyes? If so, you may have dry eye. At Vision Care Associates, we offer a simple, fast, and non-surgical procedure to treat black glands in your eyelids that can help your eyes to feel comfortable again. Schedule an appointment with Dr. Fieser to find out about dry eye treatment with our newest technology.
Vision Care Associates, where the health of your eyes comes first.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Don't gamble. Insure with MT&RC Smith Insurance in Yankton, your independent agent for home, business, auto, life, and bonds. MTRCSmithInsurance.com.
At Triple Time Rudy's, you get convenient access to quality fuel products. Plus, you'll also find quality South Dakota products like Dimmock cheese and premium meats from the Kaler and Renner lockers. With a local-friendly feel and unique product offering, Triple Time Rudy's is your local convenience store that supports schools and events and provides fuel discounts to Yankton's largest employers. For all of your daily fill-ups and convenience needs, pull into Triple Time Rudy's at 17th and Broadway.
Attention homeowners, if you've been on the fence about selling, I'd love the opportunity to sit and visit with you. With low inventory, now would be a good time to call me, Deb Speck at Vision Real Estate. I'll provide you with a free market analysis and a no-pressure approach. Call me at 605-664-5555 to find out if now is the right time to make a move.
Know what happens when you keep your hard-earned assets at First Dakota National Bank? You can rest assured that your accounts are protected to the maximum allowed by the FDIC. And those funds stay local. Businesses and organizations are positively impacted. The whole community benefits. You can invest your resources just about anywhere today. But if you keep them safe, earn a good return, and benefit the local community, why would you invest anywhere else? First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Bryce Ladwig here, 1019 Broadway Avenue. We keep moving along, but we change sports here from football to cross country, but we don't change last names of the coaches joining us. We just talked to Coach Jason Savvy, Blake Savvy. Now we will talk to Coach Kate Savvy. Savvy, this is your first time in studio, right? For the Coaches Show. So welcome to our home here now.
Yeah, it's a great place. I'm excited to be here, talk about some cross country.
Yeah, excited to have you, and let's just jump right into it. Gazelles finished fourth at O'Gorman in the O'Gorman Invitational Cross Country meet yesterday, and obviously they wouldn't have the meet if it was a heat index of 110, but yesterday was just a weird situation, at least in Yankton it was. I'm sure the weather was pretty similar up in Sioux Falls, but just kind of hot, but really humid.
Yeah, yesterday we went up to Sioux Falls, Paisley Park, and ran at our O'Gorman Invite. It's pretty nice. There was a lot of clouds, so we had good cloud coverage and a little breeze coming off. So it made for an okay meet. Obviously, we're looking forward to later in the season when the temps go down a little bit. But for our Gazelles, I was really impressed. We had some young kids up there, and they didn't really know how to start, like where should they be. But by the end of the race, they were coming into the finish line together, and it was just super cool to see them.
You were talking at the fall sports kickoff, like 2 weeks ago now, right? Something like that. Just kind of about how you want their best times to be at the end of the season. So kind of what is the standard that you want to be set when you start a season? Do you kind of going after personal best? I mean, you're always going for the best all the time, but kind of how do you ramp it up throughout a season as a cross-country athlete?
Yeah, I think I tell all my kids I want us to be excellent from day one, and that's just putting in the time, doing the little things. But I want them to also know that those PRs and the big titles that we want to chase after, they're not going to come that first or second meet. We have to build a base. We start running, we keep building our mileage, we get some better workouts in. So then by the end of the season, our fitness is at its peak. And then we didn't peak too early, we peaked just at the right time where we get to ESD and we get to state. And then those titles really do matter. And those placings that they strive for themselves also are attainable for them.
Can you go over a little bit of the results from Friday, a little more detail of your individual athletes?
Yeah, so on our girls' side, our Gazelles, we had Rylan Jackson come in at 15th. She was our leading Gazelle. And then right behind her, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, we had our pack of other Gazelles. And that was super cool to see them all just come into the finish line together. Mary Rounds, Abby Johannesson, Delaney Yeomans, and Shay Rumsey were all a part of that crew. Over on our guys' side, we didn't place a full team, but I'm really excited to see our younger guys step up and kind of fill those missing pieces that we need going forward. Aim Chance had an amazing race. I thought he put himself in a position to just finish strong and not get lost in a pack or anything. So he placed 7th yesterday, and then Harrison Krowski was right behind him in 11th place, and Brighton Olsen went 16th for us, which was just really cool because Brighton hadn't really ran much varsity this past year, so it was good to see him kind of test the waters and push himself as well.
Well, you have the Augustana Twilight Meet, and I've been doing this now for 5 or so years, and every time that comes up, whether it doesn't matter who the coach is, they're always excited for that meet. Why is the Twilight Meet such a big deal? What makes it special, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Yeah. Augie Twilight, that's just such a big meet. And I think Tracy Hellman does a great job of setting it up where he knows that it's a big deal, not just for the high school races, but the college races as well. And I know our kids love it because it's at dark. You're running with the Friday night lights, kind of get that cool atmosphere. You have your course lit up by glow sticks. And like I said, there's just almost 200 runners in every race because every school in South Dakota wants to run there. You get some out-of-state schools there. And then once you get through your painful race, you laid it all out there, you get to stay and like have fun. There's a bunch of music, and then you watch the college races, and it's crazy because it just sounds like pounding on the ground. Like you can feel the ground shake from how fast they're going. And those kids that really love cross country and they're putting this goal of, I want to run when I go to college. They get to see that and be like, this is what it's all about.
Kind of extra motivation, right?
Yeah.
Like, I could be doing this at the next level yet.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's always special. Yeah, so that's September 1st, and excuse me. And around what time would that start up in Sioux Falls?
Starts off at like 5 o'clock, and then from there on, it goes till about 9, 10. So it gets pretty late, but it's a lot of fun with the dark and Friday night lights. So.
Well, very exciting. We'll definitely have to talk about that once it happens with results. And as always, I want to say thank you for joining us, Coach Savvy, and talking cross country. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Just super proud of the kids. They've been working hard this season, and I know that by the end of the season, they're going to go out and make some big moves. So, yeah, thanks for letting me come in and talk about them. They're a great team to work with. So.
Well, we're going to talk about them the rest of the year as well. It's not just today. We'll keep on doing it just about every week, Coach. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll take a break and come back here on the Coaches Show. It was Coach Kate Savvy of Yankton Cross Country.
Being able to enjoy the warm weather is great. Playing sports, fishing, boating, and just lounging outdoors. But with the warm weather also comes skin issues and concerns, like rash, poison ivy, and other allergies and sunburns. At Yankton Rexall, we have a great selection of over-the-counter products that can help provide you some relief. So don't waste a minute of the warm weather suffering.
Celebrating 100 years, your hometown pharmacy since 1923, Yankton Rexall.
Scheduling an appointment with Yankton Medical Clinic has never been easier. You don't even have to pick up the phone. Visit yanktonmedicalclinic.com and click the self-scheduling link. It's that simple. You can self-schedule with every provider in family medicine and pediatrics, along with select providers in internal medicine and obstetrics gynecology. It only takes a few minutes and fits into your schedule. Simplify your day by scheduling online with Yankton Medical Clinic. So convenient, so much care, so close to home.
The other day, a gal came into the UPS store to drop off a package. On her way out, she noticed the print sample wall and asked if we could print invitations. The answer was, yes, we can. Hi, this is Doug at the UPS store in Yankton and Vermilion. For over 7 years now, the UPS store has been helping hundreds of customers with their printing needs. From basic copies to business cards and invitations to posters, we can print them. Stop out and ask about our current print specials and see how we can help with your printing needs.
Sports injuries can be the result of competitive activities, but can also happen by just participating in leisure activities too. If you're experiencing pain as the result of your chosen activity, consider chiropractic care. I'm Dr. Mackenzie Erlinson with First Chiropractic Centers. We have experienced chiropractors that work with sports injuries every day. Our treatment options are aimed to minimize pain, reduce recovery time, and reduce risk of future injuries. Visit First Chiropractic Centers, making life better, one adjustment at a time.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. This is Bryce Ladwig. Let's start talking Yankton Bucks golf. Coach Brett Syme joins us in studio for the first time this season. Coach Syme, welcome in. And we talked already for the Coach's Show, but for those that are just watching for the first time, how was your summer?
It was very good. We got to take a couple of family vacations, and it seems like the time from when girls golf ends to boys golf starts. There's not a lot of time, but we tried to get as much in as we could, and so we had a good summer with the family.
All right, we'll start talking some Yankton Bucks golf. Let's start with the peer invite we just talked right before we went live on air. about how that initially was pushed earlier in the morning to try to avoid some of that possible heat index issues. But then you said a fog delay, right?
Yeah, so we left Monday right after school. It's kind of been that way the last couple of years where first day of school, kind of a weird deal. Get out and run right to the Suburban and get loaded up and take off for Pier. Hopefully maybe go out and chip and putt a little bit, kind of get used to the greens. But they moved the start time from 10 to 9 to kind of stay away from the heat a little bit that was forecast. And we woke up Monday morning after staying at the Ramcota and Pier, and I actually ran out to Walmart to get some Powerade and some things to try and keep the kids hydrated while we were playing, anticipating the heat. And when I started driving, shoot, you could hardly see to drive. So getting to Walmart was just an experience in itself. And so we got to the golf course about, I suppose it was 8 o'clock. And it was very thick fog. And as we kept getting closer and closer, kids were chipping and putting, hitting balls on the range, but they couldn't see where they were going. And they did have to push it back to a 9:30 start, which was fine. It was still earlier than what we were going to go. And the weather really cooperated with us for the most part the whole time. I think temperature at tee time at 9:30 was kind of in the mid-70s, and it never did reach 90 until we were finished about 2 o'clock. So it was perfect. I did hear in Yankton it was quite a bit warmer at that time, but it did get hotter as the afternoon went on, so it was good to be done by 2 o'clock. And our kids went out and played really well. We had our best round of the year so far. I shot a 305. That was the best team score we've had so far this year. It was actually quite a beautiful day. Maybe more than anything that we had to deal with were the mosquitoes that dang near carried you off. They were pretty bad. But Easton Bellick, who's been leading us all year, went out and shot a 74, 2 over par. It was a great round for him. That put him in a tie for 7th, so got him into the top 10. Eli Larson, one of our freshmen that's really stepped in big for us, shot 76 for his best round of his career so far. Parker Riley, who's been pretty steady for us, shot 77. And Kai Cody, another freshman, who's really stepped in big for us this year. Those two freshmen kind of filled the holes from the two seniors that graduated, Dawson Vellick and Evan Ness. But to have 4 guys under 80, it was great. If we can do that, consistently as we move on throughout the season, we're going to be way more competitive, maybe than we thought. And we also had Miles Kraske and Henry Homestead playing with us that day. Miles shot 81 and Henry shot 86. But in the field that was there, Watertown kind of ran away with it. They had a kid shoot 6 under par, which was pretty crazy. They shot 4 under par as a team, which is an amazing team score. Pier was behind them, and then Mitchell right behind them, and Brandon Valley. But those 4 teams have kind of beaten us, so far throughout the early part of the season. So, all the other teams that we've been beating. And so we're kind of finding where we sit and what we're going to have to do to maybe try and move up in the ranks. And that's a good thing, but we did go out and have a good day at Pier, so hopefully we can continue doing that.
I know we're not talking Watertown golf right now, we're talking Yankton golf, but I do keep seeing that Jake Olson name either at the top or just really close to being the number 1 all season.
Well, and that's, it's pretty typical
so far,
because he's been a great player for a lot of years. And a couple of years ago in Huron, he won the state championship. And, so to see his name at the top, it's nothing new. But, and the kids talk about him, how, they'd love to play with him or whatever. And who knows, maybe when we get to the Yankton invite, I'll throw us in with Watertown or something. So one of our golfers does get to play with him and see how he plays. But he is a great player, and it's nothing new to be seeing him at the top, that's for sure.
Yankton Bucks finished 6th in the 13-team Huron Invitational golf tournament. That was yesterday at Broadland Creek National Golf Course. First of all, my favorite question to always ask. I ask Haig the same questions as I ask you when it comes to tennis or golf. How are the courts? But how was the course?
The course, a little bit tough shape. They had to play, for those people that know golf, pick, clean, and place in your own fairway so that you could get a decent lie in the fairway if you hit a good shot. Some of the holes they had to play pick, clean, and place everywhere because even the roughs were in tough shape and everything. But the greens were really good.
What are you saying?
well, when you hit your ball, you can get in some really tough spots. So if you hit a good shot in the fairway, you get to pick up your ball, you mark it, pick it up,
okay, I see.
clean it, and then place it back down on a good spot of grass, because you might be hitting out of just a dirt spot in the fairway in some of those.
Okay.
But, yeah, so it was in a little bit tough shape, but the greens were fine. The greens were good, so once you got up around the greens, you didn't have to worry about any of that. And, Broadland it's a tougher course than Pier was. I think the kids kind of take a look at the whole picture and saw we shot 325, which was 20 shots higher than we did in Pier. But we were dealing with a little bit tougher course. We were dealing with some wind, which was a little different than in Pier. And, as I look at the results, the teams that beat us, Watertown, O'Gorman, Harrisburg, Pier, and Brandon Valley, we haven't beat any of those teams all year. And the teams that were behind us, most of them have been behind us, but we hadn't beat Mitchell all year, and we did get ahead of them. They're probably thinking they didn't have a very good day, but we went out and we played okay. I thought our kids really tried to scrap for everything they could get. And, while some of them, are thinking they could have played better, just about everybody in the field. If you play golf, it's always, well, I could have shot this. It is what it is. But, we really went out and competed well. Again, Easton Velick led us with a 79. He's led us every round we've played this year. Eli Larson and Kai Cody are two freshmen that have really stepped in nicely for us, shot 80 and 82. Miles Kraske shot 84. And then Parker Riley and Riker Larson rounded us out with an 86 and an 89. So, we did shoot 20 shots higher, but same position in relation with the rest of the teams. So, like I said, we're kind of finding out where we sit in relation with a lot of those other teams. We've been playing against a lot of the best competition. And, we're just going to look for things that we can work on individually throughout the year. It's not really a whole team thing. Golf is such an individualized sport that we've got to find individually what kids need to work on. And if we can work on that and maybe work on our mental game a little bit, not make mental mistakes out there, make good decisions on each shot. Physical mistakes are going to happen, but if we can work on that mental stuff, I think, we can really improve a little bit here as we go throughout the year and really try to compete maybe for, beating some of those teams that have been beating us all the time, like a Brandon Valley who's been right there. But our goal is always in the end to try and fight for a spot on the podium at the state tournament. And if we really work hard and improve a little bit, I think we can be fighting for one of those spots, because it's really a close race after you get, past about those first four teams.
Well, the next step to getting there, and don't throw anything at me across the studio, okay? And you're on camera for asking this. But I ask you every year, it's the Marchand Cup, right? But that is Tuesday in Mitchell. Start time 2 o'clock, Lakeview Golf Course. So with all that being said, again, Coach, because you never know if someone new is listening or watching.
Right.
What is Marchand Cup? How did it come about? And then why is it unique?
Well, years ago, Rob Marchand was a golfer for Yankton, high school golfer for Yankton, and then, it's probably been quite a few years now. I can't remember exactly how many when we started this, but he was coaching for Mitchell. He was living up in Mitchell and ended up being the golf coach there, and then he passed away from cancer, and it was during the boys' golf season. It was kind of right before we were going to have just the regular Mitchell duel, where we just had a regular duel tournament against them, and Coach Marchand always wanted to do something fun while still competing and maybe get away from the regular stroke play tournaments that we always play in. So, when he passed away, we almost canceled the Mitchell duel, but their coach reached out to me and said, hey, the boys still want to play because Coach Marchand would want us to play. And we decided to do kind of a Ryder Cup style tournament and just honor him. And so ever since then, we've done it in the boys and the girls. And it's been something that the kids really enjoy, so we want to keep it going, for as long as we can. And so we're going to go up to Mitchell on Tuesday with 12 golfers, play against their 12. We're going to play a best ball format for 6 holes, a scramble format for 6 holes, and a singles format for 6 holes, and just go up there and have a good competition. Mitchell has the cup right now, which our boys don't like, and I'm glad they don't like it. But they've kind of got a little sour taste in their mouth because we got to play them at home last year trying to get the cup and ended up being a tie. And since they had won it 2 years ago and had the cup, they retained the cup on a tie. So we're hoping to go up to Mitchell on Tuesday and maybe bring that cup home. And, you know, with actually beating Mitchell in the Huron Invite yesterday, you know, maybe that'll give us a little bit of confidence to maybe go up there and play well at their golf course. I know they're going to play well, but we're going to go up there and try and battle as hard as we can to try and bring that cup home. So it'll be fun, and the kids always look forward to that one.
It's always exciting to talk to you after that one, too, because it is just so unique, the format-wise, and we'll talk all about it. So good luck in that, Coach, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks so much for coming in.
All right, thanks a lot, Bryce.
Coach Brett Syme, Yankton Bucks Golf. We'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner.
Investing in your home is easier and more fun when you have local choices. This is Cody Miles, owner of Upper Midwest Garage Door. We offer a wide variety of American-made, unique Clopay garage doors, free in-home consultations, a digital preview of the new garage doors on your home, and the expert small-town service you deserve. Get started today with your local independent Clopay dealer, Upper Midwest Garage Door. Give us a call, stop by, or learn more at uppermidwestgaragedoor.com.
Bring the crew to Pete's Ranch in Yankton. This is Annie, and we have legendary pizza and chicken just waiting for you on our buffet. Let us know what you're craving, and we'll make it fresh and bring you the first slice. Or let us deliver right to your front door. Your locally owned Yankton Pizza Ranch on Broadway, 665-1222.
It's where life tastes better. Surround them up and head her down to the Pizza Ranch. Whoa, that's good.
When I'm searching for adventure, I find it on the range. Archery challenges me to be curious, see opportunity, and welcome big challenges. It teaches me to focus and never quit until the last arrow hits. Archery allows me to show my spirit at Mount Marty University. How do you show your adventurous side? Schedule your campus visit to Mount Marty University at showyourspiritmmu.com.
FNBO is the great big small bank, and for more than 165 years, we've been with you where you are. A bank that's ready for all your needs, both big and small. Here to help you earn more, save more, so you can do more every step of the way. It's what you can expect from the great big small bank. FNBO, independent and family owned for 6 generations, and ever so focused on you. Stop on by or visit us at fnbo.com, member FDIC.
Hey, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. This is Bryce Ladwig joining you from 1019 Broadway Avenue. Thanks for all the coaches that came in here today. We're not done yet, though. We saw some other sports to cover, and one of those is Yankton Gazelles volleyball. And I do not have Coach Taylor Stacy, as they are in competition as we speak in Norfolk, excuse me. And that actually that will begin in half an hour. That starts off at 11 a.m. They're playing a couple of games there today, but the Gazelles volleyball season has been underway. Back on Tuesday, they took a 3-2 loss at home versus O'Gorman. 3 of those sets went into extra points, and Yankton won the first 2 sets. And yes, it was a Gazelles loss, but I'll tell you, I was there, and it was an exciting atmosphere. The crowd was very excited. The Gazelles just looked like they had a bunch of energy and just a great camaraderie between those girls and new coach Taylor Stacy. I didn't catch up with Coach Stacy this week, but Braden Butler did in the post game. Braden Butler doing Yankton Gazelles volleyball for us here this season for KYNT and KYNTV. So I'm going to go ahead and just play the post game interview as he was able to catch up with Coach Stacy again following the loss versus O'Gorman on Tuesday evening.
Joining me currently, head coach Taylor Stacy of the Yankton Gazelles. And Coach Stacy, first matchup with you in charge of this Gazelles team. Man, they looked very, very good, taking O'Gorman to 5 sets. A very tough O'Gorman team who's picked top 5 in the preseason polls, and they just never gave up throughout the contest, which I think is what you can really want from your team.
Oh yeah, their fight definitely brought the challenge on to O'Gorman, and so I'm really proud of how they fought. They came together as a team and tried to get a win tonight.
You know, it's looking at the team, you're a very experienced team. I know that's your first year around these girls, but a lot of them have been playing together for a long time, a very senior-heavy lineup. We'll talk about a couple of them right off the bat with Camille McDermott. Obviously, she's already had a great career here at Yankton High School, and it just continues to add to that. But Macy Drotzman as well had a very good day on the attacking front. See how those two were just linking up, Camille setting the plate, and then Drotzman knocking it home throughout the night.
Yeah, so just the leadership that we have with those two and the rest of the seniors on the team. Camille is kind of in a different position than last year as well. She was the only setter on the team last year, and so this year I'm putting 2 setters on the team with Ava Collar in there. This gives Camille an opportunity to hit some, which is really important for our offense, and she definitely put some balls in the court tonight for that side.
And then Ava Collar was who I was going to talk about next, so it's perfect that you brought her up. As you mentioned, running that 2-setter system today, and like you said, not something we saw a lot last year, if at all, from the Gazelles. And what really led into the decision coming into the year to run that system and then finding Collar to be able to run that role very well alongside McDermott?
Yeah, so right away in the summer, Ava came up to me and said that she was a setter and she was outside, and she even played middle somewhat, so she could play any position. And so we started working right away on her getting some sets in, and I was really impressed on her setting abilities and skill-wise, and so I thought we'd try it, and it definitely proved to benefit our team a little bit.
You know, the team out there, it looked like they were communicating very well from my position up here in the crow's nest, so to speak, and there's a lot of emotion being shown as well from all players out on the floor. Is that something that you really harp on, like getting into the game and communicating with your teammates, making sure you're in the right position?
Yes, the biggest thing that I say in any volleyball game is energy, and if they don't have energy, then it's really, really hard to win. And so that's what I think we lost a little bit in the last couple sets, is just we were tired, or maybe the heat got to us and we just didn't have that energy to come out with that win in those few sets.
You know, the heat the heat is getting to everybody right now, for sure. It's taking a lot out of a lot of different people, and even here inside with air conditioner, you can still feel it feels warmer in here than usual. Looking ahead, though, for your Yankton Gazelles, Coach Stacy, in your first season, going to game number 2, you'll be taking on Dakota Valley on Thursday. Looking ahead to that matchup, what can you tell us about them?
You know, Dakota Valley is always a challenging team as well, so I expect very similar things to O'Gorman tonight, and so we just need to be able to work on finishing and finding that energy to finish those last few sets. I also want to I emphasize to the girls that we need to come out strong just like they did tonight in every match, and so we'll focus on that in Dakota Valley as well, and then just finishing hard.
All right, well, Coach Stacy, thank you for your time coming to talk to me. You know, it was a hard fought, it was a 5-set loss, but it was hard fought. You showed a lot of good things going into the season, and I wish you luck in the future, and hope we get a chance to talk to you again for more games here on KYNT.
Thank you very much.
All right, that was Braden Butler catching up with Coach Taylor Stacy post-game of last Tuesday's loss versus O'Gorman, and Yankton would continue on. They took a 3-0 loss versus Dakota Valley, or at Dakota Valley, yesterday. And as I mentioned to begin this talk, they are at Norfolk today with 2 games, but that begins at, what time is it? Half an hour. Actually begins at 25 minutes, if you want to be exact. That's Yankton Gazelles volleyball. We'll take a break, come back, and turn our attention to Yankton Bucks and Gazelles soccer here on the Coach's Corner.
Hello, here's to welcoming moments, big and small, embracing the unexpected, savoring life. At Avera, our nationally recognized health system will be right here with you, ready for anything. We listen to your goals and help you achieve them with care and coverage. We'll move you forward through sickness and health and every milestone in between. Avera, moving health forward. Learn more at avera.org/forward.
Truxedo is proud to have been part of the Yankton community since its start in 2000.
One of the things I love most is that they believe in promoting from within. I've been given many opportunities to advance.
Truxedo has an extensive variety of benefits available to their employees.
The work environment at Truxedo is extremely positive.
We are looking for you to join our production team. Visit www.truxedo.com/careers to apply.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Bryce Ladwig here with you this morning. Now we turn our attention to Yankton Bucks and Gazelles soccer. All right, let's start with Yankton Gazelles. I don't have the stat sheet in front of me, I'm not going to lie to you, but they did take, from what I'm 99.99% sure, they won 7-1, and that would be their first victory of the season. That was at Spearfish last night. I know we announced during the Yankton Bucks football game that they had a lead, and it was very exciting to hear that. A very young Gazelles team is very hungry to just keep on gelling and pushing forward into this AA season. And we'll talk to Coach Tyler Schuring, believe next week, as we'll make that happen. Hopefully in studio, but at the very, very least, we'll have a interview with him to play for you. Yankton Bucks soccer, excuse me. The Yankton Bucks earned a third straight victory, rolling past Douglas 7-0 in boys action. And with the goals, Nels Hansen, Lance Dannenbring, and Christian Pacheco each had a goal and an assist for Yankton. And then Tony Gitron, Sean Scott, Zach Briggs, and Anthony Alfonso each scored a goal as well. Byron Jimenez had 3 assists. Patrick Gurney also had an assist. So Yankton Bucks just keep on rolling. They started the season off with a loss versus Sioux Falls Lincoln. It was a tough loss, but have really just turned things around and adapted immediately and are just cruising right now, doing very well in boys AA soccer. Yankton has its last game today versus Spearfish, so, yeah, it's a Spearfish today, Douglas yesterday for soccer. And so that will be happening out in West River. Best of luck to the Yankton Gazelles and the Yankton Bucks. We'll take another break, come back here to the Coach's Corner Show. We're starting to get near the end. Actually, I think we may be done, so I need to check that out. We're here at 1019 Broadway Avenue on KYNT, KYNTV.
Olson Pest Technicians is a family-owned business since 1966, and with over 50 years of pest management, they understand your issues, and their well-trained team will help you solve your pest problems. Issues with cockroaches, ants, bedbugs, bats, termites, spiders, rats, mice, or other creepy crawling pests? Give your home a fresh start and use the proven method of fumigation to take care of your pest problem. Olson's Pest Technicians will thoroughly get rid of pests so you can rest easy again. Call Olson Pest today, 800-KILL-BUG. That's 1-800-KILBUGS.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner. We don't have this week. However, that was by design. Yankton Competitive Dance and Cheer first competition. It was a little later in the year, so we will have our first talk with those coaches next week. I believe they're both coming into the studio, and Madeline Gable and Coach Stacy Reichen coming in. Yankton Competitive Dance and Cheer. But the dance team did perform at halftime last night at Crane Youngworth Field. Did an excellent job, so that was fun to watch. And congratulations to them, and best of luck in their season. But again, we'll catch up with them next week as well. It's time for YHS Nation, the segment. Braden Butler puts it together for us. KYNT sports producer Braden Butler. He catches up with, he always tries to target maybe a non-athletic activity at Yankton High School, the arts basically, and some other things, but journalism. There's anything that's, we're here at the Coach's Corner Show, athletics, right? But there's other activities that should be highlighted, and we try to find those, and Braden Butler tracks down those interviews. And today, new orchestra director in the Yankton School District. And I'll turn it over to Braden Butler's YHS Nation. But we'll be back here on the Coach's Corner.
Welcome in here on YHS Nation. I am Braden Butler. It's the first YHS Nation of the new school year here on KYNT and KYNTV. Thank you for joining me. YHS Nation is a look in at the activities and events going on around Yankton High School in the coming week, as well as a more in-depth look at a specific activity in our weekly interview segment. This week's interview is with the new Yankton School District Orchestra Director, Marissa Farrow. It was conducted by our KYNT News Director, Josh Bolter. welcoming her to Yankton, seeing what drew her to the community and the school district, and what she's most excited for as the new YSD Orchestra Director. We go to that interview now.
I'm Josh Bolter reporting for KYNT News, and joining right now is Marissa Farrow, the new orchestra teacher for the Yankton School District. We were talking before we started this interview, 5th grade, middle school, and high school. Marissa, thank you for coming in, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a whirlwind this past week moving, and we moved from Des Moines last Thursday, so we're still in the throes of unpacking and getting ready for school to start on Monday, but we've enjoyed it so far.
Yeah, so I like that. I'm originally from Denison myself, if you know where that's at.
I have heard of it, but I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I get that sometimes. Everyone's heard of it, but they're not sure where it's at. That's okay, though. But that gets into you were talking about moving. Tell our listeners about yourself.
I grew up in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities. I started playing violin, having violin lessons when I was 3 years old with a fabulous Suzuki teacher in Minneapolis. And I'm the oldest of 4 kids. All of our family is pretty musical. And then I ended up also doing French horn in band for junior high in Lakeville Public Schools, and also started playing viola when I was 10. The string orchestra needed violists, as is usually the case. So I did that. And then in high school, I just decided I felt more comfortable on viola, and I decided to major in viola performance. In college, I went to the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities campus, and then I went on to do my master's at the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. After that, I ended up meeting my now husband at USC, and we will be having our 20-year anniversary.
You know, you mentioned being a Gopher and a Trojan, both Big Ten schools now, but completely different parts of the map. How does one go from being a Gopher to a Trojan? What led you to Yankton from that point to get to here?
In the classical music world, you kind of go wherever the teacher is that you want to study with. So for the University of Minnesota, I had actually just continued on with my high school viola professor. And then the viola professor that I wanted to study with was at USC. So that's where I went. After 21 years in Minnesota, then I moved to Los Angeles. So, and then after that, I don't know. My husband is in advertising, and so being a musician and a teacher is not always financially rewarding. And so I have basically been following him in his career until now. And so we have lived in, after Los Angeles, we lived in Denver, and then we lived in the Minneapolis area again, where my son was born. I have an 8-year-old now, and he'll be in 2nd grade in Lincoln Elementary. And then we also lived in the East Bay of San Francisco for a little bit, and then to Des Moines, and now to Yankton. So what brought me to Yankton was that at this point, after 20 years of teaching in variety of ways and places, I just was ready for a change. And my son is now in school full time, so I was looking for something some way to teach during the school day. So I'm not doing private lessons until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, which, when I was younger and without a child, that was no problem to teach long hours and the weekends too. But right now, family life is more important, or super important. So that's why I decided to take this job opportunity to be the Yankton Orchestra Director and be able to spend more time on the evenings and weekends with my family.
Yeah, so, all over the place. And I wanted to ask you, what do you want to bring to the Yankton Orchestra?
I think I would like to bring just my vast array of performing and teaching experiences, number one, and my passion for helping students grow and figure out what learning a musical instrument means for them. Not every child, not every student is going to be a professional musician. So what does that look like? So learning an instrument looks different for every person. However, you don't know the person, you don't know the child that's going to become a professional musician. And so it's our job as parents and educators to open as many doors as possible and provide as many opportunities as possible for that to happen.
All right, and before I let you go, Marissa, I wanted to ask you, is there anything else you want our listeners or the Yankton community to know about you?
Just that I really look forward to working with the other teachers and staff at the school district. That was one of the reasons why I decided to take the job, is I was happy with where the school culture and their mission, what they were trying to achieve, as well as just enjoying the beautiful outdoors of Yankton and being so close to everything. I was quite surprised at how far I was able to go and on just a quarter tank of gas. So that's been fun, and I look forward to meeting all my students.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me today, Marissa. It's really appreciated. Good luck, and welcome to Yankton.
Thank you once again to the new Yankton School District Orchestra Director, Marissa Farrow, for sitting down with News Director here at KYNT, Josh Bolter, talking about her new opportunity as Orchestra Director and what brought her to Yankton, South Dakota. As we always do here on YHS Nation, let's take a look at next week's activities coming up for Yankton High School. We'll start with any activities going on today and this weekend and run it all the way through next Friday night. Starting today, Saturday, August 26th, the Yankton Gazelles volleyball team is in Norfolk for a girls varsity tournament. They'll be taking on Columbus and Norfolk for that. The Gazelles tennis team is finishing out their jamboree up in Brookings as they take on Aberdeen, Roncalli, and Huron. Bucks and Gazelles soccer out west as they're taking on Spearfish in a doubleheader. That doubleheader starting at noon Mountain Time, so 1 p.m. Central. Jumping ahead to Tuesday now, tennis has a girls varsity triangular at Yankton High School against Brandon Valley and O'Gorman. Bucks golf team will take part in the Marchand Cup up in Mitchell at Lakeview Golf Course. Gazelles volleyball will return home as they host Harrisburg for a match at the Summit Activities Center. Looking ahead to Thursday, August 31st, competitive cheer and dance have a varsity invitational at Watertown High School that starts at 5 p.m. And the Yankton Bucks and Gazelles soccer teams will be on the road against Sioux Falls O'Gorman. The Bucks play first at 6 p.m. with the Gazelles at 8. That's next Thursday, August 31st. We round it out with Friday, September 1st, as we jump to a new month. Bucks Golf has a varsity quad at Spring Creek Country Club against Brandon Valley, Harrisburg, and O'Gorman. Tennis has a varsity quad as well for the Gazelles against Madison, Mitchell, and Pierre at Hitchcock Park in Mitchell. Bucks and Gazelles cross country will take part in the Augustana Twilight Meet. The varsity girls 5K begins at 7:20 p.m. and the varsity boys 5K begins at 8. And rounding out the activities for the week for Yankton High School, it's the varsity football game. The Yankton Bucks hosting Spearfish at Crane Youngworth Field, week 2 of the Class 11AA football season. Thank you, everyone, for joining me on this week's edition of YHS Nation. Thank you one more time to Marissa Farrow, and good luck to her as the new Yankton School District Orchestra Director. Until next time, stay safe, be good people, and we'll see you next week on YHS Nation.
And thanks to Braden Butler and YHS Nation. And I just realized that in the midst of everything, first show of the season, in-studio show with the coaches of the season, that I didn't talk Yankton Gazelles tennis, so I apologize for that. We do have the result from yesterday, however. Yankton went 1-2 in Brookings in that jamboree. Harrisburg beat Yankton 5-4. Nora Kraske, Sabrina Kraske, Addison Gordon, they each won in their individual or their singles, and Sabrina and Nora Kraske won in their doubles match. So a close score there, close loss. Aberdeen Central also beat Yankton 4-3. Nora Kraske and Sabrina Kraske won their singles and also had a doubles win, but Yankton did take a 7-1 victory over Brookings. The Kraskes, Evelyn Lima Zapan and Megan Scott won singles. Sabrina and Nora Kraske and Scott and Carolyn Coroner each won in their doubles matches as well. I did have an interview with Coach Ryan Haig, but we already have the results. So it's just one of those things where, he's basically talking about going into Brookings, and, well, we know what happened. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that this week. But try to get Coach Ryan Haig on a time where it's not right butted up against competition. So that's the weird thing about a lot of these fall, winter, spring, all the sports. A lot of them are on weekends as well. So we do our best to get all the coaches in and get them all on so they can talk about their programs. But thanks to all the coaches that made time or had the time to come into the studio today. Love having them. Thanks to Pizza Ranch for providing pizza for our Coach's Corner show. And probably for Kirby and Marshall Ladwig, my two kids. Well, Marshall's not eating solid foods yet, so I'll eat his portion and then some as well. But always appreciate that. Not much leftovers, though. The coaches came in, especially the football coaches. They came in and they did some damage to the amount of pizzas available for the rest of the coaches. So that's something that we might have to add a pizza onto the roster as we move on here on the Coach's Corner show throughout the rest of the fall season. Thanks again to Coach Guest this morning, the sponsors, and thanks to you for watching or listening. I'm KYNT Sports Director and the voice of Yankton Athletics, Bryce Ladwig. Go Bucks, go Gazelles, and go enjoy the rest of your weekend. This has been the Coach's Corner show.
FM 102.